Welcome back to GMP Scenario, presented by PharmaContentLabs.com.
All right, if you've ever worked in a regulated industry, you know this exact feeling. You're digging through the monthly data, sifting through reports, and this little sense of déjà vu starts creeping in. You're thinking, wait a minute, I've seen this before. And it always starts small, right? You see a familiar deviation report. It's that same issue, the one that popped up last month. And hey, didn't it show up the month before that, too? You might brush it off as just a minor glitch, but it's persistent. Then, the plot thickens. The pattern gets a little clearer. It's not just the same issue. It's coming from the exact same department. Every single time. Okay, so at this point, we can all agree this isn't a coincidence, right? This is something specific, something localized. And then you dig just a little deeper and bam, you narrow it down even more. It's happening at the very same control step in the process. Now that signal, it's not faint anymore. It's a big, blinking red light on your dashboard. You could practically set your watch by it. It's predictable, it's repeatable. And this is where it all goes wrong. This is the critical failure. You've got this clear, repeating signal, a silent alarm, really, and yet nobody raised an escalation. The issue was noted. Sure, maybe someone even put a quick fix on it each time, but that bigger picture, the underlying trend, totally ignored. And we all know what's coming next, don't we? The one thing that changes everything, the audit. And just like that, all those little problems you've been sweeping under the rug are suddenly under the world's most powerful microscope. Of course, the auditor, with their fresh pair of eyes, spots the pattern in about 5 minutes. And then comes the question. The one question you absolutely do not want to be asked. So, I'm seeing this same issue pop up again and again for months. Why was this trend never formally addressed? And the answer? Crickets. Total silence. Because there is no documented response, no investigation, no rationale for not escalating it, nothing. And in the world of compliance, you know the golden rule. If it wasn't documented, it didn't happen. Okay, so let's unpack this. What really went wrong here? This is so much more than a simple reporting mistake. It's a complete failure of prevention. And that shift in mindset, from just reporting to actively preventing, is absolutely critical. Let's dig into that. It really boils down to two completely different ways of looking at things. On one side, you've got passive reporting. That's basically just checking a box, saying, yep, log the data. But on the other side, you have active prevention. And this is where you start using that data as a powerful tool to stop problems in their tracks before they blow up into major failures. And that right there is the key. These repeating issues, they're not just a string of bad luck. They are symptoms of something way deeper, a systemic weakness. Think of it like a crack in the foundation. It's a flaw that's literally baked into your process, and it guarantees the problem is going to keep happening over and over until you fix the system itself. It's really like a domino effect when you think about it. The first domino is the ignored trend. That knocks over the next one, which is this systemic weakness it points to. Since that weakness isn't being managed, bam, the next domino falls. Predictable repeat failures. And the final domino? That's when those repeat failures become the exact observations an inspector writes down in their final report. And that can lead to some really bad news. So the big question is, how do we avoid this whole mess? Well, it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. And to do that, you need a solid framework. A simple 3-step solution for managing these trends proactively. Here it is. Super simple. 3 clear actionable steps. Number 1, define triggers. Number 2, escalate to review. And number 3, implement a systemic CAPA. Now, for anyone new to this, CAPA stands for Corrective and Preventative Action. It's the formal way you go about fixing a root cause. All right, let's break each of these down. Okay, step 1, defining your triggers. This is all about getting rid of any gray area. You need to spell it out in black and white what officially counts as a trend. How many times does it have to happen? Over what time frame? How severe does it have to be? These can't be based on a gut feeling. They have to be objective, numbers-based rules. That's what makes your process defensible when someone comes asking questions. Step 2, escalation. The moment one of those triggers you just defined is hit, the process needs to be automatic. No hesitation. It immediately gets escalated to a quality review board. And this can't just be one person's decision. You need a cross-functional team, people from engineering, operations, quality, the whole shebang, so you can really understand the risk from every possible angle. And finally, step 3, the solution. The outcome of that big review meeting has to be a systemic kappa. And I want you to focus on that word, systemic. We are not talking about putting a Band-Aid on the problem. No, this is about fixing the root cause. It's the difference between patching a leaky pipe and replacing the whole faulty section so it never ever leaks again. Okay, so you've got this great framework, but watch out. There's a really common mistake that can completely undermine everything you've just done, especially when we talk about closing the loop. Let's make sure you don't fall into this trap. So here it is, the big mistake. You see 5 instances of the same problem, and you create 5 separate fixes. You close each ticket one by one and tell everyone the situation is controlled. That is the wrong move. The right move is to recognize those 5 instances are one single trend and implement one single systemic kappa that makes sure that problem can't happen again, not just in that one spot, but anywhere in the entire system. And believe me, this matters a lot. Because when an auditor sees 10 different fixes for what is clearly the same root problem, they don't think, wow, they're on top of things. No, they see a complete failure to manage a known issue. Trust me on this, it's one of the very first things they're trained to look for. So the bottom line is this. You have to have the paper trail. Your documentation needs to tell a complete story from start to finish. It needs to show the trend charts that flag the issue, the logic behind your triggers, the official record of the escalation, the full systemic kappa plan, and, this is key, the evidence that proves your solution actually worked. All right, let's wrap this up. When you boil it all down, this isn't just about managing data points. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see your work. It's about learning to listen to those early warnings and turning those quiet little signals into a core part of your strategy. Look, if you only remember one thing from all this, make it this. Trends are not failures you need to hide. They are opportunities. They're early warning signals that your system is under stress. They give you the chance to go in and fix a tiny crack before it turns into a massive, catastrophic failure. So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're looking at your own data, ask yourself, what are my silent signals trying to tell me? And maybe more importantly, am I actually listening?
Thank you for watching. If this helped, like and subscribe. More GMP scenarios coming.